Hello, my name is Jasmine Hall, and I am here to share some data from Slater Elementary School over the past couple years. And this data will be geared specifically towards the math department at Slater Elementary. The purpose of this presentation is to review the math results on the Georgia milestones for third through fifth grade math students, examine possible reasons for growth and or regression, and also to evaluate changes in the school demographics data. Before we get started, I just want to kind of remind the audience that um, from 2000, after the 2016-2017 school year, a major change occurred at Slater Elementary. Slater Elementary went from being a part of the Atlanta Public Schools tutelage to being under the Purpose Built Schools Atlanta umbrella. Purpose Built Schools partnered with Atlanta Public Schools to form a partnership to take turnaround schools and failing schools in the state and kind of bring in extra staff, extra curriculum, and have a little more autonomy to change the schools' demographics and academics, and hopefully turn things around for the better. So, as I present today, I want you to keep that in mind as we look at the changes that occurred over the past couple years with our data, especially from the 2016 school year to the 2017 school year. So let's first begin by looking at our student enrollment. In 2016, Slater had a total of 689 students. 2017, the numbers stayed fairly the same, with a total of 696 students. But after that 2017 school year, we see a major drop in student enrollment with only 564 students enrolled at Slater. Now let's take a look at our student population by ethnicity. 96% of students at Slater in the 2018 school year were Black. 3% of those students were Hispanic, and 1% of the students at Slater were multiracial. If we look at the student population by subgroup, we can see 82% of the students are economically disadvantaged, and 18% of the students are not. 90% of the students have been, 10% of the students have been identified as students with disabilities, and 2% of the students are identified as English language learners. Let's take a look at the number of teachers at Slater. In 2016, there were 67 teachers at Slater, and we can see a major jump in the number of teachers at Slater in the 2017 school year. And remember, that is when Purpose Built came into play, and they hired teachers for the math lab, the lit lab. The students have extracurricular activities during the day, and an increased number of instructional coaches and instructional staff as well. But after the 2017-2018 school year, we do see a small dip in the number of teachers at Slater to only 79 teachers. Let's take a look at the number of years of teaching experience. If you take a look, well, the blue columns represent the 2016-2017 school year. The orange columns represent the 2017-2018 school year, and the gray column represents the 2018-2019 school year. You can take a look at the data and see that in that first year of Purpose Built, 2017, we have the most teachers with 10 years or more of teaching experience. And in that last year, in 2018 school year, we didn't have any teachers who were new to education. The amount of teachers who had 6 to 9 years pretty much stayed steady from 2016 to 2018. Now let's take a look at some CCRPI data. CCRPI is based off of 4 components: achievement, progress, achievement gap, and challenge. The components are kind of combined and to give us a total CCRPI. So let's take a look at the data we have here, and this data is compare Slater in red to Atlanta Public Schools in blue and the state of Georgia in yellow. In 2016, Slater Elementary was well below the state and Atlanta Public Schools with their CCRPI. But in that 2017 school year, we have a major jump in our CCRPI, and we are not too far. We've closed the gap a little bit between Slater and Atlanta Public Schools. And again, 2017 was the first year of Slater being purpose built. So that's good data that shows that whatever was implemented in that first year with purpose built must have been working. However, we do see a major decline in our CCRPI from 2017 to 2018, going from 60.9% to 52.7% in 2018, which puts us well below the achievement gap from Atlanta Public Schools and the state of Georgia. Whereas we can see Atlanta Public Schools is actually kind of closing the gap between APS and the state of Georgia. So we can see something must have happened from that 2017 school year to that 2018 school year. Now let's get into our math for our math audience. I've put together a graph of the content weights by grade level for math. In third grade, on the Georgia milestones, number of operations is the heaviest weighed with 35%, followed by measurement and data. Bring then operations and algebraic thinking with 25% and geometry with 10%. For fourth grade math, number and operations with fractions is the heaviest weighted, and number of operations in base 10, operations in algebraic thinking, and numbers and measurement and data are the same on the Georgia milestones with 20% and geometry with 10%. And for fifth grade math, we have number and operations with fractions being weighed the heaviest as again from fourth grade to fifth grade. Next, number and operations in base 10 with 25%, measurement and data with 20%, geometry with 15%, and operations and algebraic thinking with 10%. Now, let's take a look at the milestones data, and this is specifically for mathematics achievement. The blue column represents the percent of students who were performing at the beginning level in 2016. Here's the developing level for 2016 2017, the proficient level for 2016 2017, and the distinguished level for 2016 2017. The milestones data for the 2017-2018 school year will be in orange, and the achievement data for the 2018-2019 school year is in gray. And again, we kind of see the same trend going from the 2017 school year, where we have a kind of a jump in the increase of students in the beginning level from 2016 to 2017 and a decline in student achievement from 2016 2017 developmental level. However, the student proficiency kind of stays in the same ballpark. In 2017 and 2018 the data is exactly the same, and the number of distinguished students is weighing about the same from 2016 to 2018. Now, this graph shows the performance on the Georgia milestones, and it compares Slater Elementary to Atlanta Public Schools in the state of Georgia for the 2018 academic school year. And if we take a look, Slater Elementary has 47.8% of its students performing in the beginning level for mathematics, and that is well behind the percent of students performing in beginning for APS and the state of Georgia. Our number of students that are performing and developing is not too far behind Atlanta Public Schools, and we're right on track with the state. However, if you look at our number of proficient students, we are very behind with the percent of proficient students for compared to Atlanta Public Schools in the state of Georgia. And our distinguished students are even further behind in closing that achievement gap with only 1.5% of students performing